No?
So this is the receipt.
Yeah, it's on. Hello.
Correct channel?
It's on.
Testing, 1, 2, 1, 2, testing.
Huh?
Testing, 1, 2. No. You want me across a little bit? Yeah, working?
It's coming?
Yeah.
Can we start?
Yeah, good.
These players for the November 6 qualify. And as customary, he will announce his team before the end of the press conference. But I must also announce that immediately after the press conference, there will be a presentation to the Scorpion technical staff. Will be presenting some equipment that is geared towards enhancing his job. So I would indulge our kind patients to stay. In fact, you can see that there are banners already on the flanks. Immediately after these ones, we just put them on and we get into that as well. It's all part of the national team, please. So without much ado, coach, but this show is yours to announce the team to the Gambian people through the media.
Perfect. Okay, thank you once again, ladies and gentlemen. Very good to see all of you again. It's been, I know, only a few weeks since we were last sat together, but all the same, very good to see everyone. Obviously, the upcoming games, very important. We know the value of them, with our destiny very much in our own hand, having to rely on anyone else to do something, which is going into the squad. I know you guys will have a lot of specific questions. Just reflecting on the squad selection, again, it's been very pleasing that the majority of our players, again, have been playing regularly. As you know, we've got players all over the world, here in the Africa. It's been very good that the majority of our players are getting regular minutes at a This is something that since I've joined the Scorpions has been a great pleasure. It's a challenge as well because don't have that privilege. So it's something very pleasing for us, and it's definitely made picking the squad this time again difficult. Be hyper competitive coming into the games. The other thing that I think is very beneficial is you'll notice there's a few. Somewhat a unique thing for the Gambian national team is a lot of the players breaking through in professional leagues are born and bred here in the Gambia. You know, yes, we have a number of players who are members of the diaspora, and they're always welcome to be part of our team. But I think when you look at other teams across the continent, I think in the last camp, we only had 5 of the 23-man squad were born outside of the Gambia. That's a very low number. And again, that sort of trend continues because a lot of players who are being developed at the clubs and communities here in the Gambia are taking that step to professional football and performing well and getting called back to represent their country. So yeah, we're very pleased about that. But look, let's move into the squad. So goalkeepers, we'll be maintaining Ibrahima Jarju, Lamine Saidi, Sheikh Sibi. In the defense, Ibu Toure, Babukar Njai, Joseph Cisse, Dudu Gay, Mamadou Lion Njai, Mamadou Badjo, Abubakar Bari,
Yes. So we go straight into the question and answer session.
My name is Ibrahim Kampoja. Last time I started, Kampoja is a very good knowing that even will take you 95%. What type of tactics are you planning? Not allow your opponent to score you first. And so what are you?
Naive to think that whether it's team goes in looking for a draw. I think all teams look to capture the game. In nature, when we look at the first game on match day 5 against Comoros, their system doesn't change often. They're a team that likes to sit a low to mid block. They like to defend different. Their previous games in qualifying have seen a pretty consistent approach to their gameplay, and they're very good at it. They're very good at it. But equally, when we look back, even when we played them on match day 1, we were 95% of the way there in that game. They sat in their block, yet we penetrated it numerous times. If you come away from that game, that Comoros game was the most attacking moments that the Gambia had created in over 10 years of football in terms of attacking chances in a game. And so the one thing that was missing was that final golden touch to score the goal. But we were creating a lot. And unfortunately a set piece undid us and we got back in the second half. But you know, in that game, we largely managed Comoros very well. Now, that was match day 1. They have developed as a team. They come in more confident than maybe they were in match day 1. But for us, we just need to go, and we've been putting a lot of things together in our performances, and we've been creating a lot of chances, and the play of the team has been developing camp by camp. That, yeah, it's about putting the ball in the back of the net. It sounds as simple as anyone down the street talking about football will talk about, but sometimes football is a simple game. But goal scoring is also the most difficult thing to do in football. That's why the best goal scorers go for the big transfer fees. Again, we're very thankful that we've got a number of players in the squad who are in good form with their clubs. You look at Alassane Jatta, Ali Sow, Abdoulaye Cisse, Moussa Barrow, Bamba's even got on the score sheet recently. There's a lot of guys in the front 5, front 6 who've been scoring goals recently. And so it's, can we transfer that into the national team? Because we're creating the chances, we're using the ball reasonably well. Now can we get over the line? But yeah, we know it's an important game, and we've got to go all out for the win. But we also have to make sure that we don't fall prey to those counter-attacking moments, because Comoros are very good at them. If you look at their victory over Tunisia in Tunis, again, counter-attacking moments. They could have won the game by more than a single goal. So they're very, very good on the counter-attack. So we've got to balance that attacking intent with also defensive alertness to make sure that we don't fall victim to that.
Yes, thank you so much. My name is Mawan Jabi from Samo. Paul, you listen to them that they create a lot of chances for putting the ball at the back of the net. It's always a problem. What do you think we should do to make sure that we get the ball that we need? Because scoring is very important because of the matches.
Yep.
You don't score, you don't have 3 points.
Yep. No,
right now, as you speak, Moussa Barrow and other players are scoring week in, week out. Going to the national game, it's also very strong.
Yeah. Look, there's the old adage in football is that the first thing is creating the chances. You know, and I think this is probably where there's been a big change here, because in the past, maybe if we were to wind the clock back 2 or 3 years, there wasn't as many chances being created by the Scorpions. You know, you maybe had a handful of chances in a game, whereas now the way we're playing is resulting in a lot more chances being created. And that means when you don't get the victory, it means it hurts so much more, because you look back and you think, oh, we created all of these chances. But you've got to understand as well, and the players we talked to the players about this, is actually getting to that point of the goal-scoring moment takes so much effort and so much quality to go from your own goal line 100 meters up the pitch, maintaining the ball, creating good opportunities, takes so much technical expertise, and we're doing that so well, so often, that calmness and coolness in front of goal just needs to be there. Sometimes it's also been good saves, you know, sometimes it has been that our opponents have been pulling out good saves, good tackles, but on the merit of it, you know, we're not going to sit here and have a debate over football statistics and XG and all of that, but when you look at our games, if you keep creating that number of chances, you win more games over the long term. That's the nature of it. So for us, it's about continuing to create the chances. It's about having guys be cool in those moments and just be ready, because we know they've got quality. You know, we know they've got the quality. You know, Musa has the quality, Abdullah, Ali, Alassana, Bamba, Yankuba, all of them have huge quality in front of goal. And so we just have to keep creating the chances, and we know that it's going to click.
Good afternoon. Coach, looking at this team, when we say we have a good team on paper, because the striking department, Alassane Diatta is coming in, he's absolutely in fine form for Notts County, 5 goals in October itself. And Ablaye Cisse is also a fine strike as well, getting the goals. But looking at the wings, of course we have Yankuba Minde coming in. And we all understand that for the past 3 games of Brighton Hove Albion, Yankuba Minde hasn't featured, he's out injured. And looking at other wingers, Ibrahim Akoli is doing very well for Young Boys, Musa Juara for Baile, Jibril Silla for Azam as well. What justification do you have in getting Yankuba Minde in the squad who have played in the past 3 games, and these wingers who have absolutely been doing well for their clubs being left out?
So again, I think it's important that we correct the question, first of all, because you named 2 players who've only started 1 game in the last 4 weeks for their clubs. You know, Ibrahima obviously is an important player long term for us, but started for Young Boys yesterday for the first time in the last 4 weeks. Hasn't been playing recently, and I spoke to Ibrahima this morning just to explain why he wasn't going to be in the selection. But in essence, I think over the last month he's played about 100 minutes of football total, and that's roughly the same. Musa's a little bit more. He's come off the bench in the last 2 games to do quite well off the bench. But again, we just feel what Sully and what Bamba bring to the squad. Bamba obviously has returned from injury. Last week started, got 90 minutes previous weeks. He's sort of on an upwards trajectory, we would say. Fully fit now, upwards trajectory, scored last week. And Sully has been pretty much a regular at Racing Santander. So, you know, I think it's important to correct the question in that the way you frame it makes it sound like the guys who have not been selected have been playing more than the guys who have been selected, when that's actually not true. It's just factually not true. Specifically on your question about Yankuba, I spoke with the sporting director of Brighton 2 days ago. So Yankuba is now fully fit. So he is now back in training as of this week. He's expected back in training with the Brighton first team. We know that not having played, the last game Yankuba played was the game against Madagascar for us. And that's not an ideal situation. But I think also that Yankuba, even at his young age, has built up enough credit to say, for 1 player in the squad, we can take a risk. And physically, we know it's not going to be an issue. Is there going to be a little question mark over match fitness in terms of can he play 90 minutes? Absolutely. You know, we're not naive to think you can go from playing 0 minutes for 4 weeks to then playing 90 minutes at international level, but that's what a squad's for. You know, we've got other guys who can play when he maybe isn't able to. But in terms of his physical fitness, there's absolutely no problem with that.
Yes, sir.
Basically, I want to talk about Alassane Diatta and Ayup. All 3 of them missed out the video squads. For some reason, Uganda before this time decided to only be called up for some reasons. Some of them also ask not to be called for some personal reasons, so maybe they want to get more playing time with their respective clubs to establish themselves more. And we've seen them being called upon, basically two of them, Barry and Alasana. Is it that right now they are mentally ready? Not only mentally ready, but they feel that now is the right time for them to play in the squad and excel.
Yeah. Again, before I answer your question, important to correct, because I know other stuff. Your question gets included in my answer a little bit. Brian McCauley's never refused a call. So the reason Ibrahim, as we explained the last time, was him and I had a discussion. He had some personal issues that were very pressing that needed attending to, and we agreed that I would not call. So for anyone to suggest that Ibrahim McCauley has not honoured an invitation is very incorrect. So I think it's important, because that's quite a damning thing to say about a player, that he doesn't call and he doesn't come. That's never happened. So Ibrahim is fully committed to playing for us, and actually when I spoke to him this morning, was disappointed but understood about not being called into this squad, but was very disappointed at not being able to represent the Gambia this time around. So I think it's important to correct that. For Aboubakar Barry and Alassane Jatta, obviously last time out, Alassane was just recovering from concussion, and so wasn't at 100%. And yeah, between the two of us, he just sort of felt players, when they come for the first time, want to make a real positive impression. And when you're not at 100%, you don't want to have a negative impression your first time out. So, you know, he's feeling really good now, fully recovered from the concussion. He's maintained, after returning from that injury, he's maintained scoring goals in League Two for Notts County. And so he's going to come in and compete. But I also think, you know, let's take the pressure off a little bit, because your first time stepping up to international level from League Two is a step up. You know, the quality of players he will be playing against and playing with will be higher than what he plays with in League Two. So we've got to, there's a lot of potential there with Alassane. You know, we have big faith in him that he can do really well over the long term for us, but we think he can have an impact in the short term. So he's ready to come in. And again, Aboubakar, you know, he's doing really well at Austria Vienna this season. Had a little bit of an injury a few weeks ago, but is back last few games, has been back in the team. And yeah, just again, a player who's ready to come, ready to compete. And I really think adds something different to us, because Aboubakar's a player who really likes to drive forward with the ball. He likes to make forward runs from midfield, can carry the ball really well. We don't have lots of those. You know, we've got a lot of guys who like to play two-touch football. We've got guys who can be physical in the midfield. We've got the number 10s who can shoot and who can assist. We don't have too many of the players who can connect through their running and through their power play, let's say. We're really pleased about that. But in order to give them access to the national team, you've got to drop somebody else. And when you look at the players, for example, in Rashid's position, you know, the likes of Ibu Adams, Mamadou Baggio, Ibrahim Darbo, Hamza Barry, who's not in this squad, Said Khan, who's not in this squad, you know,